Good morning and welcome to the porch, and also welcome to the shooting range this morning. Now, we've got something that's kind of interesting we're going to do this week. Now, we're going to start it this morning, but it's going to take us all week of filming to do this in its entirety. But let me see if I can explain to you what that really is about. Now, here a few weeks ago, I had a friend over and he and I were doing some shooting. Actually, we did a video together. And he made mention of something, and I've been thinking about that ever since. So we're sitting there talking, and I asked him about why he chose the CZ gun that he was carrying as his EDC gun. And he said, well, it just fit his hand real good. And he said, I think people should think about when they're considering a gun, getting something that fits them. And, you know, that's true. That's really true. And when I got to thinking about it, I thought, well, I shoot a lot of guns, a lot of different guns, and I've really never just dialed it in and figured out which gun fits my hand the best. I like all guns, so, it's a little bit more difficult for me. But having said that, I thought, you know what, I really should answer that question for myself. I carry a Glock 19X as my EDC. Let me show this thing to you right quick. This is my EDC gun. Now, let's do this right fast. This gun is not loaded, been safety checked, and I carry it as my EDC gun for a few reasons. I won't go into that right now. It may before the end of this video, but I shoot it well enough, but I'm not sure that I shoot it as good as I do some other guns. So let me go ahead and put this back in the holster. And we're going to test that theory this week. What we're going to do is I'm going to start out shooting this Glock 19X this morning at a target. And we're just going to shoot at 7 yards, try to figure out just in everyday use, which one of the guns that I have that I really think I shoot the best. And then once we figure that out, I want to sit down and try to understand why I can shoot it better than I can the other guns. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to set up a target down here, a certain type target, and we're going to use that. We're going to shoot 5 rounds every day. I shoot every morning anyway, so I'm going to shoot 5 rounds every day, but I'm going to shoot in a different gun. And we're going to video this whole thing for you guys all week long. And then at the end of the week, we'll edit this video, show you guys what we did, the guns we're using, and all those things, and just get you to thinking and asking the question, if I'm going to buy a gun to carry, what are the things I should consider? If I'm already carrying a gun, what are the things I should really consider? So let's don't talk about this too awful long. I just kind of wanted to give an introduction to it. Let's get down and get some shooting going. All right, guys, let's get at it. Test subject number 1, Glock 19X, 5 rounds. Gun clear. Okay, guys, we're going to be shooting the Ruger 1911 again. The first test run we did, our camera didn't work right, so we're going to do a second shot deal on it. We taped up our holes on our target, and so this is test subject number 2. All right, let's do it. Clear. Okay, guys, this is suspect number 3, or test suspect number 3. It's the Kimber KDS-9C, and unloaded gun, as well as magazine. Now the magazine's loaded, so we're going to go ahead and put the magazine in. We're going to shoot it. Clear? Okay, guys, this is suspect number 4, the Taurus 38 Special 856 model. Let's give her a try. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and shoot the TISAS 45 ACP carry model. Clear? Okay, now that we've got the shooting part done, let's talk about what we've learned, do lessons learned here. Let me explain right quick what the goal was, I suppose, first. The goal was to understand which gun that we shot the best, and all the guns that I just got finished showing you shooting are guns that I carry concealed occasionally. Now, the 19X is my primary, but the other guns I actually carry occasionally concealed. So we wanted to know which one of those guns I actually shot the best. And so the best way to do that was just run the test. And so that's what we did. Now, let me explain how this worked. This is the Glock 19X, and the idea was to put all of them in this circle here, in this black circle. And as you can see, we didn't get all of them in the circle, but I don't want to get hung up on that right now, because in a few minutes we're going to talk about that in more depth. But for right now, each shot in this black circle counts as 20 points, meaning we have 100 points possible on each target. And as you can see, we only got 2 or 3 on the circle. Now, one of those just barely touching the line, but the rules are if it breaks the line, you get the score. So you're looking at a score of 60. So without going too much deeper into depth about what we learned here, and we're not going to, we're going to talk about the scores a little bit, and then we're going to come back to these, and we're going to talk about what we learned as we shot these things. Okay, let's look at those scores right quick. Glock, score 60. Ruger, score 60. Kimber, score 100. Taurus, score 0. TISAS, score 60. These are the scores that we held on those targets. We'll discuss that further. All right, guys, here we are back again, and we're going to talk about these targets, talk about what we learned about each gun that we shot. Let's start out with the gun that we started with, which was the Glock 19X. Now, we ended up getting 3 of them in the black here. Gave us a score of 60. But we had 2 really bad flyers down below. Didn't even put them on the plate. I'm not too proud of that, but it is what it is. So what we learned with the Glock 19X, being we're carrying it as EDC, we do need to practice more with this gun. Now, having said that, these scores, in a situation, this would have done fine, but I like to be better, okay? So the lesson we learned with the Glock 19, we need to be better. We need to practice more, Okay, there's 19. Okay, let's go with the Ruger 1911 9mm. And we ended up with two shots, one here and one outside the plate, flyers. And then we ended up with three in the black, which gave us a score of 60. I carried that gun for a long time, and I shoot it fine. And this would have been fine. This is not bad out, but we do need to practice more. So that's something we learned there. Same score as the 19X. So Ruger 19X, both 60. So let's look here. Kimber. Now we ended up, there's two bullets in one hole here, so we ended up making 100 with the Kimber. Now, I don't know what the reason is, but every time I pick that Kimber up, I shoot that gun probably better than any gun I've ever shot. It's a little old 2011 double stack type 9mm, and it just, I don't know, everything on that gun just fits right, functions right, and works right for me. So 100 out of 100. So that's what we learned there. Well, we learned I shoot the Kimber better than I do any of the rest of them so far. 38 special. Ended up, I think, with one outside on the top of the plate here, way up high, and then the rest of them ended up, didn't get any of them in the black, which, that gun, I'm going to go ahead and make a few legitimate excuses about that gun. That gun has about an 8-pound trigger pull on it, single action. Double action, my trigger gauge won't even gauge it. It's so high. It must be a 15, 20-pound trigger pull on it, but it's high. So I don't shoot real good with it. But let me say this right quick. We just took that gun up and laid it on the bench in the custom shop. We're going to cure that trigger pull problem. We're going to go ahead and put a spring kit in it, polish the internals, deburr everything. And we're going to go ahead and blue that gun while we're at it. It's a little rough. But anyway, lesson learned here is I can hit with the 38 special and in a pinch and get me out of a tight spot. But I'm not very good. That's a 0. Not a very good score. So we know that we need to work on the 38, and we're going to do that. So that's lessons learned there. Now, the TISAS carry, we hit 2 over here outside of the black, and then 3 just right in the row there, just almost touching. So we did pretty good on the carry, but we still only made 60 points on that. But I guess if I had to get right down to it, what is the best gun? Well, without a doubt, the Kimber is the best gun as far as accuracy for me. And I think that's a lot to do with it. It just fits my hand good, which was the original thing that spurred this conversation, was what fits your hand good. And so the Kimber fits my hand really good. The TISAS 45 1911 fits my hand good as well. It has a little more recoil, so I don't shoot it quite as good as I do the 9mm. But I'd say the two best, number one being Kimber, and then number 2 being the TISAS 1911. So what does that tell me? Well, what it tells me is I can shoot pretty much any of those guns good enough to get the job done. And I'm certainly not bragging about my marksmanship because it lacks a little to be desired, but it's functional. And so I can shoot all those guns well enough. If I want to get down to the nitty gritty, there's guns that work better than others, as you can see by looking at the targets and this conversation we're having. Now, does that mean that I'm not going to carry any of those guns anymore? Not at all. I'll carry those guns like I always have. I'm convinced that I can do the job with the gun, but I also know which guns I can do a better job with, and that's important to know that. So, in a nutshell, what does this boil down to? Well, what this boils down to is that I've got a game plan to solve some of the problems that I noticed by going through this little test that I did. And that's the reason for testing guns and testing you. See what you can really do, not guess what you can do. It's not Hollywood. You don't get a second chance, you get one chance. So, summary, I need to practice with my EDC gun, especially. So not this week, but next week, I'm going to actually do my testing all week long with the 19X Glock that I carry as an EDC. And I'm going to start out at the beginning of the week, keeping a score, and then as the week goes on, I'm going to get to the end of the week and see if I've improved any. And if I have, then we'll just keep shooting, and not necessarily the 19X, but we'll just keep shooting and practicing with all guns. Now, we've got a new gun that we're welcoming to the stable this week, and I'm not going to show that to you right now. I'm going to show it to you maybe next week. We'll be ready to do a reveal of that gun, but right now we're shooting it, we're testing it, and the reason I'm not going to shoot the 19X this week is because this week I've allocated to this new gun that I bought, and it's really a neat gun. Excited about showing that thing to you guys, so stay tuned for some upcoming videos. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and just close this video out. Maybe we've given you some information that'll help you. We here at Porch love you. We want the best for you. May God bless. Have a good day.